Hey guys, Tim Miller from the Bulwark here. I did another one of these debates on the Piers Morgan show with Steven Crowder, who is this noxious, like, debate me, bro, look at me, bro guy that I'm sure you've seen somewhere on YouTube. And we had to do this whole phony, WWE kayfabe thing where they pretended like regular MAGA Americans were really offended by Joe Biden. And I felt it was my job on the show to just remind people that Steven Crowder and Donald Trump's whole existence is to offend. Like, the whole reason why Donald Trump has a political career is advancing a lie about Barack Obama's birthplace, a racist lie. Steven Crowder, if you don't know him, you can just Google it and see about his career of attacking gay people, attacking trans people, attacking women, wanting no-fault divorce, which is particularly notable given the divorce in his life. So, like, these are people that target vulnerable people, and then when they get a fastball thrown back at them, they cry foul. So you all know, if you're on this channel, that I wasn't a huge fan of Biden's comments, but I'm also not a huge fan of phony assholes. And so that's why I took on this debate. Subscribe to this feed if you want more from me, and enjoy some of my discussion with Piers Morgan and Steven Crowder right now. Donald Trump's never called anybody garbage. Donald Trump called Kamala Harris's advisors garbage just like the other week. Donald Trump said America is a trash can and the world is sending their garbage, which is migrants here. Donald Trump's called me and other people that oppose him in the media the enemy of the people. He's called people human scum. He said that Haitian migrants were eating cats and dogs. Do we need to keep doing this? Like, we're going to pretend to be offended on behalf of Donald Trump? I mean, and Steven Crowder, by the way, his whole career, this is why he's on Rumble, not on YouTube, because he got kicked off YouTube because all he does is insult gay people, insult trans people. The only garbage I know is Steven Crowder and Donald Trump. So they're garbage. I don't think all of Donald Trump's supporters are garbage. I think that many of them are good people that have been misinformed by Donald Trump and Steven Crowder's lies.
Tim Miller, what I would say is, people on the left, they're very, very quick to be very offended by Trump's rhetoric. This has been going on for 8 years now, that this guy talks in a disparaging way about people. It's unacceptable, it's awful, blah, 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 blah. But you think nothing as a group of constantly flashing the Nazi word around, fascist, Nazi, and now garbage.
I'm not. Like I said, the only people I called garbage were Donald Trump and Steven Crowder, because they've acted like garbage by disparaging people their entire careers. Like, that was the whole premise of both of these two guys' careers. Donald Trump's just been a little bit more successful at it. So Joe Biden's statement, I think, was like totally nonsensical marble mouth. And I was maybe one of the most vocal people saying Joe Biden shouldn't run for president again. Joe Biden isn't running for president. Kamala Harris is running for president. And she gave a speech on the ellipse where she talked about how MAGA voters would have and MAGA politicians would have a seat at the table in her administration. So you guys are trying to make something out of nothing, and you're trying to do this fake outrage where it's like in soccer, Piers, where you guys are flopping. You're flopping on the ground, hoping the refs call a foul on Joe Biden, when Donald Trump's whole career has been insults and lies and disparaging people, and also his actual actions have been hurtful. You know, the sexual assault that he committed on women, the fact that he banned people from coming to this country based on their religion, the separating of family. We could just go on and on about Donald Trump's behavior, the cops that got injured at the Capitol because of the riot that he started. So Donald Trump, it's not just his words, it's his actions that have been harmful. And you guys can get mad about what the soon-to-be former president, Joe Biden, like incomprehensibly said, but he's not running against Joe Biden. And it seems like a desperate ploy to like put on a fancy costume and dress up like an Oompa Loompa.
Thank you. But again, I'm really going to avoid ad hominem, which is really tough because it seems to be coming from the other side of this panel here.
Well, I will note for the record that you have not gone ad hominem. And Tim, to be fair, all you've done is abuse Steve. All you've done is abuse Steve on a personal level. I actually would like to rise above that.
His whole career is all he's done is attack gay and trans people. Now he's getting offended, being called out for it. Just Google his history of his comments about gays, trans people, women. Like, he is Mr. Ad hominem. So don't try to be like, oh, I'm Mr. Nice Guy now. Come on, give me a break. Let's be honest.
Tim Miller, I want to talk to you directly about the fact you went down to confront the MAGA mastermind, Steve Bannon, when he was released from prison at his press conference. and Bannon decided to have a bit of fun at your expense. Let's take a look.
This is Tim Miller, one of my favorite guys from MSNBC in the Bulwark. Used to be the spokesman for the Republic. When I met Tim as a younger man, he was the spokesman for the RNC, the old RNC, the establishment RNC, the RNC of Mitt Romney, not the RNC of Donald Trump. But go ahead, Tim. Question.
Tim, I mean, you went down, you quizzed him on whether he would attempt another coup as an encore to January 6th, and Bannon gave quite a serious response. Let's take a look at that.
Nancy Pelosi gave an interview to Rolling Stone magazine. She said her number one priority is to make sure that Donald Trump is not only not elected, a re-elected president of the United States, but he never sets foot in the White House. Nancy Pelosi and Jamie Raskin right now are thinking about, and they're very open about it, of not certifying a Trump victory on November 5th.
So, Tim, I know you're going to leave us in a few minutes. Just your response, really, to what Bannon said there.
Well, that comment is based on nothing. I do think that there's kind of a delusion in there's sort of this every accusation is a confession a little bit sometimes with people in MAGA, where it's like they're not going to certify the election, like we didn't certify the election. If Donald Trump wins, the Democrats are going to certify the election last time, just like the Democrats did in 2000 in a much, much, much closer election than 2020 when Al Gore conceded to George W. Bush after his legal challenges had been exercised. Donald Trump didn't do that. And when I asked Steve that you didn't play there, and I've quizzed Steve many times. I interviewed him on the circus several times. We've gone back and forth. And so it wasn't like I was confronting him. They invited me to the press conference. And what I asked him there was, he got out of prison. And I was wondering if sometimes when people get out of prison, they feel like they're reformed. And they look back on their actions and they say, you know what? Maybe I went too far. Maybe in 2020, by advancing these lies about the election, I thought it was all part of the political game, but then things got out of hand. Dozens of police were injured. The vice president had to be scurried off by Secret Service. The vice president's life was in danger. Senators and House members' lives were in danger. I was really the ringleader of pushing that in the media, in the MAGA media world. And given that the results ended up so disastrously for the country and for those individuals who were harmed that serve our country, maybe those 4 months in low security prison, he had a chance to reflect on that and say, you know what, next time I'll do things differently. And I got to say, I was pretty alarmed that the answer to that question was no. He did not. He doesn't see that he'll do any change. And if we are in a similar situation this time, I think both him and Donald Trump will act the same way, and I find that very alarming.